He ruined our wedding with a sick prank. I walked out. Hey Reddit, buckle up, because you are not going to believe the mess I've been through. I walked out of my own wedding 8 months ago. Yep, I know how that sounds, like some cold-hearted villain. I literally abandoned my groom at the altar. But before you roast me alive, please, just hear me out. People always assume the one who ends things is some emotionless monster, but what about the strength it takes to finally break free from a situation that's slowly crushing your soul? See, for 4 long years, I was blinded by a guy who checked all the boxes for emotional unavailability, constant busyness for everyone but me, zero backbone to stand up for us, and a twisted sense of humor that always seemed to target my insecurities. My ex possessed all these qualities, and don't even get me started on his best friend. This guy was the absolute worst, amplifying every toxic trait to an ear-splitting level. I am feeling so much peace, absolute bliss since I kicked them both to the curb. But now these two disaster magnets are trying to drag me back into their orbit. I need to set the scene. Rewind to college. Yes, I know. I was an idiot for dating this man for years, and an even bigger idiot for agreeing to marry him. My ex and his best friend were childhood buddies and mirrored each other's worst aspects, like two sides of the same sexist, misogynistic, insecure, and overconfident coin. It wasn't always a nightmare. Initially, my ex was actually charming. He put on a show, and I fell for it. The first few months were okay. But then the mask started to slip, revealing the true face underneath. It began with him constantly being too busy to see me, always conveniently partying with his friends. When I dared to question his disappearing ex, I was promptly gaslighted into oblivion, made to feel like I was the crazy one for even wanting his time. When college ended and I started searching for a job, the negativity and the insidious undermining ramped up to DEFCON 1. I'll always remember his motivational speech when I was hunting for work. You'll never get hired, lol. And even if you do, you'll be fired. This came from my loving boyfriend and his best friend, who seemed to find my dreams endlessly amusing. Thank God you're pretty, they'd sneer. They hired you as eye candy. The disrespect was blatant, and my ex would just chuckle, like it was the funniest thing he'd ever heard. Every single time I had a disagreement with my ex, he broadcast it to his entire posse, turning our private struggles into public entertainment. His best friend would join in the chorus of insults, labeling me as a dramatic, impulsive, overreacting, stereotypical woman who obsessed over insignificant details. They mocked me constantly, chipping away at my self-esteem with every barb. I could give you 1,000 examples of their constant microaggressions, but I won't bore you with every excruciating detail. Let's just say that, as wedding planning began, his best friend basically hijacked the whole process. I was supposed to be the bride, planning my dream wedding. But no matter what I wanted, my opinion never mattered. We'd only do what his pal decided. I felt like he was deliberately choosing things I hated, just to spite me. For example, I hate orange flavor. Guess what flavor the wedding cake was? Orange. My ex predictably sided with his pal, forcing me to go along with it. Even my wedding dress wasn't my choice. My fantasy dress was allegedly too garish for the best man's sophisticated tastes. Everything felt wrong. I persevered as long as I could. On my wedding day, something truly awful happened. But looking back, I'm almost grateful for it. My ex's best friend decided to pull the ultimate prank, a stunt so cruel and humiliating that it still makes my skin crawl. He orchestrated it with a calculated precision. A pregnant woman was dramatically paraded inside. He declared, loud enough for the whole room to hear, that my groom shouldn't marry this stupid, ugly hag, referring to me, of course. He dramatically announced that my fiancé already had a wonderful girlfriend who was pregnant with his child. And this wasn't happening in some private room, no. This was happening in front of all the wedding guests. I was utterly horrified. I didn't know how to react. Tears welled in my eyes, blurring my vision. The best man sneered at me. He was asking if my groom really wanted to live with this dramatic stupidity for the rest of his life. He was being so unbelievably cruel for no reason, and I simply stood there, unable to speak or cry. The pregnant girl and the best man started giggling. The groom joined in. I felt like my heart was shattering and I was about to die, all while these people laughed in my face. Then they explained that it was a joke, a prank. Can you even imagine how that feels, after humiliating me in front of everyone and using such vile language against me? They simply laughed it off, dismissing it as just a harmless joke. I started yelling at them, and they had the audacity to yell back, saying I was foolish for not knowing how to react to a joke. In that moment, I knew, deep down, that I could not live with this. So, I left. I simply abandoned my groom at the altar and walked away. They tried to fix things, but I disappeared for about 2 weeks. I needed time to recover from the sheer trauma. I won't go into every painful detail of my healing process, but it was a rough ride. I went to therapy, cried myself to sleep or was unable to sleep at all, and eventually ended up hospitalized for dehydration and malnourishment because I couldn't bring myself to eat. I healed, but the scars remain. Thinking about it still makes my eyes water. I'm still working on fixing what they broke. What this nasty man is currently attempting to heal this man. Now, as I said, it's been 8 months. And my ex's best friend is taking his role as a best man a little too seriously. After single-handedly destroying my wedding, He's been on a relentless campaign to get me back with my ex. Call after call, text after text, showing up at my house, even ambushing me at work. He's done everything he can to convince me to go back. He truly believes this is just a problem that can be fixed. When I flat out told him that I was done with the relationship and had moved on, he just asked if I was dating someone new. As if my decision to be single, not in love with my ex, wasn't acceptable. It was a problem that needed to be resolved. A dumb prank that escalated and now needs to be solved. I'm so over this, it's mentally exhausting. Every time this man tries to talk about the past, he brings back all those awful memories. So, Reddit, I need your guidance. I need your honest opinion. Update. Thank you all so much for your kind words and support. When I decided to post this, it was mostly a desperate venting session. I never expected so many people to care. Reading your comments made me feel like a character in a movie. A lot of you suggested a restraining order, and you're absolutely right. I don't know why I didn't think of that myself, but it's never too late, right? My life is still getting more annoying and frustrating. The man started calling my friends after I blocked his phone number. I'm just trying to live my life in peace, and he's doing everything he can to prevent it. I will get that restraining order. Update 2. Guys, I got the restraining order. And guess what? I received a text from my ex's best friend's girlfriend, who claimed that her partner was just being nice. She implied my move made her feel like I was not worth it, because I was being such a dramatic person. I am so frustrated that this entire group of people has decided to annoy me for the rest of my life. Update 3. Hello there, Reddit. Hopefully, this will be my final post about this whole saga. I'm not even sure if this was the right thing to do. I contacted my ex, and we had a lengthy and frankly, painful conversation. I made it abundantly clear that I was no longer interested in him and would never contact him again. I told him that if his friend didn't stop harassing me, I would be forced to take more severe legal action, as if the restraining order wasn't enough. He promised me that I wouldn't be harassed again and that he would speak with his friend. It's been a week, and I haven't heard from either of them. I really hope it stays this way because I am so done with these people. But let's be honest, I don't trust them at all. Venting here has been incredibly helpful, and you all are truly wonderful people. Thank you. I'm going to sign off for now. NTA not the a whole but for your ex and his closest friend. Definitely insert a positive word here. Reading this made me really irritated with insert a positive word here. I cannot comprehend how you put up with such behavior. Insert a positive word here. Story 2. My brother proposed to my fiancée. What would you do if your own brother got down on one knee and proposed to your fiancée right in front of you and your entire family? Sounds like something straight out of a drama movie, but this actually happened to me, and trust me, it only got worse from there. A few months ago, I met Jun. She was everything I had ever wanted. Smart, kind, beautiful, and we instantly connected. At first, I kept our relationship private, but as things got serious, I decided it was time to introduce her to my family. One night at a family dinner, I casually showed my parents some pictures of Jun on my phone. My mom gushed about how gorgeous she was, my sisters were excited for me, but then my older brother grabbed my phone, and his expression instantly changed. His face turned red with anger. Are you kidding me? You're dating my ex. I was completely thrown off. Jun never mentioned dating Mark. Later that night, I asked her about it, and she admitted that they had dated, but only for 1 month. Mark had broken up with her because he was bored and never wanted to settle down. Even though their relationship was brief and meaningless to him, he still demanded that I break up with her immediately. I refused, and from that moment, things were never the same again. Months passed, my love for Jun grew, and I knew she was the one. So, on her birthday, I planned a beautiful dinner with both of our families and closest friends. When I got down on one knee and asked her to marry me, she said yes. The entire room erupted in cheers except for Mark. I saw the rage burning in his eyes, but before he could ruin the moment, my sisters immediately shut him down. Then, 2 months later, Mark invited the whole family, including Jun and me, to dinner at his apartment. It felt weird. He had been avoiding me since my proposal, so why now? But since my parents and sisters were going, we decided to give it a chance. The dinner started off normal. We ate, we talked, nothing seemed off. Then Mark suddenly stood up. I have a big announcement, he said, looking right at Jun. Then, before I could even react, he got down on one knee, pulled out a cheap-looking ring, and proposed to my fiancée. The room went dead silent. Jun looked horrified. Get up. What the hell are you doing? She snapped. Mark ignored her and turned to my parents. Mom, Dad, don't you think she and I belong together? My dad jumped up to grab him, but before he could, I punched Mark square in the face. He stumbled back, laughing like a maniac. I just wanted to show you that Jun doesn't love you. She's just trying to get back at me. I grabbed Jin's hand, stormed out, and made a decision right then and there. Mark was not coming to our wedding. A few days later, my mother showed up at my house, furious. You need to invite Mark to the wedding. Are you serious? He proposed to my fiancée in front of me. You really think I'd let him anywhere near my wedding? He was just joking, she snapped. You're being dramatic. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Then she dropped the bomb. If Mark isn't invited, then I won't be attending either. I looked her straight in the eye and said, if that's what you want, go ahead. But I won't beg you to be there. She stormed off, furious. Then my mom showed up again, pretending she wanted to make peace. At first, I thought maybe she had come to apologize, but the moment I brought up Mark's insane proposal, she rolled her eyes. That was just a joke, you're overreacting. I snapped, a joke? You call him humiliating me in front of everyone a joke. You call him trying to steal my fiancé a joke. Our argument escalated fast. We were yelling at each other when suddenly Jean got up to leave, and then my mother attacked her. She lunged at Jean, grabbed her hair, and threw her to the ground. She screamed insults, slapped her, and even tried to scratch her face. I lost it. I dragged my mother off Jean and threw her out of my house. She banged on our door for 10 minutes, screaming and sobbing, before finally leaving. That night, Jean cried herself to sleep in my arms. That was the moment I knew I was done with my mother. I reported the incident to the police, but since Jean didn't want to press charges, they couldn't do much. But my mother wasn't done yet. A few days later, she waited outside my workplace and cornered me. She screamed at me in front of my coworkers, calling me a traitor. How could you do this to me? You ruined our family. I stared at her, disgusted. You don't want legal trouble, I said coldly. Then you shouldn't have attacked Jean. She begged me to withdraw the police report. I refused. Then she said something that truly made me sick. Your sisters forgave me. Why can't you? I stepped closer, looked her right in the eyes, and said, they can forgive you if they want, but I never will. Then I walked away and never looked back. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more shocking real-life stories happening around you. Attention-grabbing YouTube titles. My fiance's best friend ruined our wedding day. Crazy wedding prank went wrong. I left him. He humiliated me at the altar. So I walked out. Horrific wedding day prank. I couldn't stay. I fled my wedding after this happened. My mother's horrible behavior after my brother proposed to my fiancée. Okay, Reddit, after hearing all of this, I'm really questioning myself. Was I too harsh? Did I overreact to the prank, even though it was incredibly humiliating? Should I have tried to work things out with my ex? Was cutting off contact with my mother the right decision, even after she attacked Jean? I'm genuinely curious to hear your perspectives on this whole mess. I need to know if you think I made the right choices under the circumstances, considering the intense emotional manipulation and the outright cruelty I endured. Please share your thoughts and let me know if you believe I handled this situation in the best way possible.